everyone, I'm Gina from tinyhome.tours, and we are in Graham, Texas. We're at Excalibur Container, and I want to show you guys one of their custom models of a container home. Starting in the kitchen area, it's the first thing you notice right when you walk in. It's really simple, but it has everything you'll need, and it's also a really big kitchen space, which is nice. So you have a big countertop right here, your double-sided sink, which is really nice that you have a big sink space, a ton of cabinet storage for dishes and food beneath, more cabinet storage up above the countertop area, and then we have a 4-stove burner all the way on the right-hand side. This particular unit does not have an oven, but every container home they make can be customized however you want it. So as you can see, all of the bottom cupboards are double door, so you have a lot of room down here. It's a nice big area. And same with the cupboards up top. You've got some shelving in them on either side. Got some nice storage area there. At the far side of the kitchen, we have the fridge. So as you can see, it's a standard size for a normal home, and it doesn't really take up too much space because it's just tucked away in the corner over here. Right next to the fridge, we have the bathroom. You can actually close this off with a sliding door. So the bathroom is actually a really good sized bathroom. You have a full sink area with some cupboard room down below, a nice big mirror right above it. Next to that, you've got your standard shower, which is a pretty decent size, especially for this size of home. Next to the shower, we've got the toilet, and then right above it, you'll see that there's an on-demand hot water heater system. In the living area, this particular model is set up so it's open all the way through, so you have your couch and TV lounge area connected to the bedroom. When you first get into the living area, you've got the AC built right into the wall. Then we have the couch. Right across from the couch on either side of the living area are nice big windows. These windows have metal shutters built in, which are really important for if you're in Texas, for example, and there's a hailstorm, or to keep out animals, small mice, things like that. Right past the couch, we have a dresser area, and then you have space for a bed. This particular show model has the 2 bunk beds, but you could definitely put a regular size bed here as well. My favorite part about this container is the woodwork. You can see how the walls and all of the cupboards are made from real cedar, and the ceiling is made completely out of metal.
With our homeless population, and while we're at it, we could build all kinds of cool structures for our city.
We are going around and collecting pallets from several area businesses that have been gracious enough to donate us pallets. Well, the nice thing about pallets, they're kind of a waste product. Most people are willing to give them away, and some people even pay to have people haul them off. So they're readily available and very cheap.
We use HT stamped pallets, which means they are heat treated, not chemically treated.
The design calls for 100 pallets to build an approximate 250 square foot structure. The plans from I-Beam Designs, which are really fascinating, they're designed like Legos. Like if you look at the plans, it looks like a Lego catalog. The problem we encountered, we have a plentiful supply of free pallets coming from Korea, and they are in metric. So our pallet house uses their footprint, their building techniques, except instead of being 40 inches wide for each pallet, we're like 43 1/4, and instead of being 48 tall, we're like 45 and a fraction. So our size dimensions are a little different.
We decided to go with Knoxville Botanical Garden and Arboretum because they were excellent to work with. They've been really supportive when we proposed the idea, and it started through an interest with rhythm and blooms, and we thought this would go great with the interactive art aspect of Dogwood Arts, and day 3 of the festival takes place here.
So as you come in, there's sort of like a hallway corridor, and in the designs, this area is the kitchen. And so if we were going to finish this out, you'd put a countertop around here. This is where you could set a propane stove and like some sort of water containment device so that you could prepare food here. And here is considered the dining room. So this little area is just used a pallet to build tables. This is the living room. It's just another space where you can like lounge around. And then the loft is upstairs above the dining room. There's approximately 8-foot square sleeping loft. Because I built the deck square, I had an extra 6 feet, so I actually gave the pallet house a nice deck. The beautiful thing about working with pallets such as this, it reduces the amount of lumber you need for framing. If you were to frame up something like this, you'd need well in excess of 200 2x4s. But because the pallets themselves have a structural component, you really just need 2x4s every 40 inches apart, or 40, in our case 43¼ inches apart, to hold the sides of your pallet together. And then the pallet surface itself serves as a sheathing, so that it eliminates the need for a plywood sheathing. So you could go right over this with any type of siding material that you wanted. With the roof, the same thing. It's perfect for laying on a metal roof, or in the actual design plans by I-Beam, they use the corrugated clear plastic to allow passive lighting.
We are so thankful for the volunteers that we have had on this project so far. This is just the first project. After this, we will be moving on to maybe building some other projects. I think some great ideas would be guest houses, stages, playhouses for kids. Anything you can think of that we could just repurpose wooden pallets for, I think is where we'd like to go with that, and sort of incorporate them into city events.
Wales, and we're at the site of a 2-storey load-bearing straw bale house, which is the first in the UK that's 2-storey load-bearing. And load-bearing means that it doesn't have a wooden frame to hold the house together. It's literally straw bales built like bricks with a roof fixed on, and they're compressed and plastered, and that's what holds the house together. I can't really say where the inspirations for this house came. I think it came through me just by letting go and listening to the natural surroundings. It started to kind of arise through me, the vision for the house. And this place used to be in the old days a lookout over the estuary when the pirates came in. And it was also a place of retreat for the monks of the ruined abbey in the village. So I was really aware of that connection with this land and the abbey, and I started to get images of curves, arches, and also the pattern of energy under the ground. When I walked into what was going to be the house, I kind of had a clear direction for where the bathroom needed to go, where the kitchen was going to go. It was almost like something was just lending itself to me. So it wasn't as if I just sat down and thought about it. It was a few years of it emerging. I think for me it just makes sense to have a curving space. You know, it's kind, and it's what nature offers. Nature doesn't offer straight lines and corners, and for me it's about flow. And working with women on the build was an empowering experience. I found that there was a kind of level of cooperation that was unspoken, that we could work together quite quietly and harmoniously often, which was a beautiful experience, and I didn't have to explain myself too much. And I think there was room for more women to go into building, and there's a lack of confidence there. It's like Desmond Tutu has said, you know, he said we men have made a mess and now it's time for the women, and I don't actually totally agree with that, but I think there's an opening now where the softness and the slowness and that intuitive way of being is coming into the world, and it's going to support the fear and the disasters and the climate change and all this fear that's surrounding climate change and the changes in the world. I think there's a portal and there's an opening to support that, and I feel that that's what this home has been about.
Tour inside and around what we're calling home at the moment. So let's go and have a look. Now this tree is over 250 years old, and finding some of the information about this is quite amazing. It took 5 master craftsmen over 18 weeks every single day to make this structure and work it around the tree. The footings go down 5 meters into the ground, so it's nice and secure. And it's just beautiful how it's all mixed in with the tree. I can't wait to show you guys. Before we go up though, just to give you an idea of the size of this tree, I'm going to give it a nice big hug so you know how big it is. It's huge! So this is the entrance to the treehouse, and I really like how they've got it in between these 2 branches. It really makes it feel like you're going in to live inside the tree. But before we go inside, I'm going to take a little sneaky shortcut and show you the outside balcony, which is all decked out here. So this decking is made from oak and larch wood. In fact, most of the actual building is made of that. And it goes all the way around pretty much in the whole circle, 3/4 of a circle. You've got this great view overlooking the lake and the railway and the rest of the forest. You've got a nice seating area here if you want to sit down, have a cup of tea. And there's a really, really nice seating area out here if you want to have any lunch or snacks. Jojo had his breakfast out here today. 4 seats. There's even a nice little snug under here. What I love about the view out here is you get a real sense of how high up the tree is and how big it is being up here. It's a good 20 to 30 foot down, and you're really remote. There's no other neighbouring tree houses or other lodgings. It's just nice that you're on your own, you're secluded, and you really feel like you're out in the woods in nature. So that was the outside, but we're going to go inside now where it's nice and warm. Take your shoes off. So coming into the living space, this is where we spent most of our time as a family so far. You've got a nice sofa there in front of a TV and DVD player. Jojo brought some DVDs with him, so he's been watching some films already. But it's a nice area just to relax. You can play games on the floor, build Lego, things like that. You've got a wood burning stove here to heat the whole room. We've just put another log in there now, so it's settled down for a bit. But when it's fully going, it will keep you nice and warm, cozy in here. But also you have some additional heating on the side here just to keep you warm. So yeah, it's just a nice and cozy room to relax. Now we're going to go on to the kitchen. And I'll tell you what, as we walk around this place, try and see how much wood they've used in everything here, from the sides of the walls to the ceiling to the furniture that they've made. It's quite amazing. Down the hallway, there's a little storage area. You can put some coats or bags and shoes or anything else. It's always helpful to have storage in these places. And I'll tell you what, once you get to this kitchen, it is hard to believe that this kitchen exists in a tree. Like, it's blown us away. We've enjoyed making food in here so much. You've got everything you need in your regular kitchen, plenty of storage. Fridge is hidden in there. Even a dishwasher hidden in there, which is awesome. Most of our food storage, we've used this area under the sink. It's a really good area. But there's lots of other areas where you would have wine bottles, where you've got Pringle tubes or plant-based milk. And what I really love is that they've got this breakfast bar over here where you can sit up in the morning and have a snack as well. Maybe some toast, cup of tea, or looking out. And you know, you've got such an amazing view around you no matter what window you look out. So there are kind of 3 levels to the treehouse. That was the first level, but we're going to go up to the next level where the first bedroom is now. Quite handy as well that they utilise little areas like this just for shelf space. But this is the first bedroom. Now this has got 2 beds in here. You'd maybe expect kids to stay here. Look at the size of the beds and the way it's almost like an adventure room. We've got this storage area here, and we've got loads of games in here, including real Monopoly and Scrabble. There's a Pirates of the Caribbean game, which I don't even know what that's about, but I'm looking forward to finding out. Even more storage under here, which means basically there's enough storage per bed or per child if each child has their own things to store. And the beds as well, they're really thinking about kids because they've raised up the mattress on this side, so it's got like a nice lip, a nice edge to stop kids falling out, or maybe adults as well. They put a little footstep in here as well just to make it easy for you to get on the bed. And again, you've got like the best view possible just to look out of the window. I almost want to be a kid and stay in here myself. I'd probably sleep down that end though. I might bang my head, I don't know. And up to the very, very top bed. We have a kid sitting here right now. You right, Jojo?
Yeah. I'm watching Stampy.
He's watching Stampy. They've got lighting specific for the bed as well, so if he wants to read a book in bed, it's just nice. It feels like a real escape just hiding up here. Yeah, and again they've got this edge here as well to stop anyone falling out of bed. This is what I mean about utilising the wood from the tree and putting wood basically everywhere. These little legs that they've made for this footstep like stand to get up, it's, I don't know, it's just so inventive. It's just like they're using as much as they can where possible. See you later, Jojo. So if the kids are a problem, you can just close them off. So that's the first bedroom. Then we're going to go up to the top floor where the big bedroom is. So this main bedroom area, loads and loads of space. They've got a big storage area for your coats, all your clothes, even your Vitamix and your juicer if you need. More storage here with a couple of drawers too. Do you know what? I just keep getting distracted again and again every time I'm walking around here because of the view. You get to see absolutely everywhere. I really want to climb out there along that tree branch. I won't though. A lot of animals live in this tree, namely owls, so I don't want to go disturbing any of them. So as far as the bed area is concerned, we've got a vanity table there, which Casey was really excited about because sometimes you stay places and they don't really think of this, but they've got it spot on here, and a hairdryer too. And there's plenty of storage space underneath as well, which is really handy to get our suitcases out of the way. As for the bed though, here comes the big jump. Whee! The bed is comfy, plenty of room. Katie of course called the window just to wake up with the view. And I have to see the back of her head. The back of her head's pretty nice though. But yeah, it's just lovely to be able to wake up to and just the realisation that you're here in nature like this. Moving on to the bathroom. Check out this bathtub, man. This is such a cool bathtub. So deep. It's so deceiving as well. Once you get in there, you don't realise how much space there is. But you dare come any closer and touch the tap. But yeah, Katie was straight in this the first night we got here. And it's really nice that you can just sit in here and relax. You probably get 3 or 4 people in here. These windows, actually, one thing I'll tell you about, all of the blinds have to be kept down at night because the owls that live around here, the light coming out of here at night time could really disturb them. So we make sure all the blinds are closed every single night. We care about the owls. They're letting us live with them essentially. For the rest of the bathroom, we've also got a shower as well. I love these showers that we have overhead. It's just so enjoyable. And also we've got dressing gowns both for the morning. So yeah, really love this bathroom, plenty of space and just so enjoyable, nice to relax in. But we look after the owls too.
They were taking it apart. And I asked them, I said, what are they going to do with that old airplane? Because I saw a house with no maintenance, you know. And the guy that ran the place out there, he said, that's what you need, Red. You need that old airplane. Everybody laughed. 2 weeks later, I bought it.
You are now free to move about the country.
It is now safe to move about the cabin. Red furnished the fuselage the way you would any home. He built a full kitchen and a real bathroom. All fastened seatbelt signs have been removed, so you are free to eat, sleep, and play your guitar in the aircraft/house.
Parachutes, and it said, jumping out of airplanes is the thing. You can't beat being surrounded by what you love, you know? And even if it's nothing but a couch and a chair or something in a house that you live in, is it whenever you get there and you close the door, you're home.
Red has left some non-traditional decor intact. Not many homes tell you where you can find your life vest, and you certainly won't have to fight over a window or aisle seat since the 177 seats were taken out.
About the outside, let's take you inside so I can give you a full-on detailed tour of this 3-bedroom double-decker bus. Let's go. So this is Bertie the bus. That's right, that is the official name of this bus, Bertie. What a cute name, I love Bertie. This bus is obviously decommissioned, but a long time ago would have carried hundreds, thousands of passengers on multiple journeys around a city or town somewhere. and that's been converted into a 3-bedroom home. And what I really like is that despite the conversion, they've still retained a lot of the original bus features, so it makes it even more special, magical and fun. So immediately as you walk in, you've got a kitchenette area. We've got an oven here, and even though it's small, it does everything we need it to. Got a grill there as well, 2 hobs. We've been able to fry up some food here already, it's been really nice. And it's right by the door as well, so you get plenty of ventilation. Toaster and kettle, absolute essentials wherever you are staying in the UK. We've had tea and toast already. For storage, there's a big deep drawer here for all of your cutlery, knives, forks, all of the bits and bobs you need around the kitchen. And there's things as well to use for the barbecue, which is really handy. Across from there, there's an electrical box in here, so if anything does trip, you can actually go in there and restart it, again, without any problems. And I like that they have these little areas here, which have been left for putting tickets in or holding things in as well. So it's nice little touches like that, which make this really special. We've got a decent sized sink here. It's been very practical for us so far. We've got the water plugged straight into the mains here, and also electricity's routed into the mains, but there's also a solar panel on the roof as well, which is really cool, which means, you know, we're getting renewable energy, which is really good for the planet. We like to look after the planet. I really like this area as well, even though this isn't an original feature of a bus, well, I don't think it is, but having all of these pipes for this shelving unit, I don't know, it's just a really nice touch. It makes it look all really rustic, like an old bus kind of look, I guess. We've got a decent sized fridge as well. We did a big shop recently, as you guys may have seen, so we've managed to get everything we need in here. So it's nice that you've got a good amount of storage. Across from there, we've got additional storage with our plates and bowls and everything here, a bread bin, other things you need for cooking, preparing food, and also it's good for any additional food prep you want to do if you're doing a bigger meal. What I really like about this area as well is one of these original bus features they've kept here. Not just the no smoking sign, but the bus stopping sign. Do they still have these on buses? I feel like I haven't been on a bus or I haven't seen one in ages. Comment below if they still have these. This one hasn't even lit up yet, which is weird considering we're stopped the whole time. So this area in the middle I really like because you've got so much space here. It's been really nice just to chill out and rest here with a cup of tea or even a snack. I really like as well that the bus still has these original seats, reupholstered obviously, but they're the same seats you would have had on the actual bus itself. I don't remember ever them facing across from each other though. Always facing forward, maybe some facing back. Yeah. So up to the back of the bus, and we all know the back of the bus is the coolest. Comment below if you were someone that always went to sit at the back of the bus because you think it's the best place to sit. We will be going upstairs to the back of the bus, which is even the extra cooler place. But this area, we've got a nice electric fire you can put on if it gets too cold, and a really, really nice seating area where you can sit around and eat the food or just chill out. This area is huge, and the table is huge as well, and it makes, I don't know, it almost gives an illusion like this part of the bus is wider or bigger. You could probably get 10 people sat around here all at once. In fact, on this entire bus, with this seat in here and the seat in there in the middle and the beds upstairs, you could probably sleep 10 people here in total. There's some nice little touches as well. The emergency exit door is still available, but you can't actually get out of it. So if there is an emergency, probably just best to go out the front door. So I've shown you all of the downstairs living area, and now we're going to go upstairs to the top deck, and I can show you where all the bedrooms are. Come on. How crazy is this? Going upstairs on bus stairs. This is so cool, man. You've got the bell here as well, which has been pressed again and again and again, but it doesn't make the sound. As a kid, didn't you always want to do that? Or if you are a kid, don't you enjoy pressing that bell? But only press it when you need to get off. No irresponsibility. Here, however, press it as much as we want. Well, what we've learned very quickly that you have to be aware of coming up here is the low ceiling. Banged my head many, many times. With it being upstairs and with heat rising, it gets a lot hotter upstairs than it does downstairs, which is good for when you're going to bed and you want to be warm and cozy, but there are loads of the original windows all around the edge that you can open up just to give a bit of ventilation. So there's 3 bedrooms upstairs. First, I'm going to go to the back of the bus and show you the main bedroom that we've been staying in. So this is the most spacious bedroom. It has a king size bed, a really comfy king size bed. We've had some good sleeps in this already. And what's really nice as well, they put curtains here all around the top so you can have your privacy, shut off light if you want to. For storage, most of the space available is space under the beds, but we also have some hooks with some hangers that we can hang our clothes up on and any other things as well. So it's pretty much all you would need.
One of the things that's really striking to me about this cabin is how it looks like it's just meant to be here.
I wanted to make it look like it was part of the environment. That's part of the goal. but not, you know, like sort of the touch of a human, but still kind of honoring what the environment is around it.
And that's especially true of what you've done with this roof, because the way that you've actually covered it with all of the moss, how did you even do that? Is there a metal roof under there? Or?
So with this cabin in particular, I wanted the framing of the roof to be exposed because the inside has this really cool beam system and rafter system, and I wanted you to see the pattern that created. So I started by just, you know, frame the rafters, frame the boards for the sheathing, and everything is salvaged from different places, different job sites. This is like an old bowling alley for the deck, and the beams came from a building in Tacoma, Washington. So back to the roof though, there's the sheathing, and then I laid weather-resistant solid insulation on top of the sheathing on the outside, then put strapping on it, then put metal roofing on it, then put chicken wire on it, and then went around and I foraged for moss. And there's, you know, in this forest, there's moss everywhere. So just kind of collected moss a little bit from different trees so as not to kind of take too much from one place. And then you just take the moss and you kind of stuff it in the chicken wire, and it just kind of grows together. So you stuff a few spots and then it kind of weaves and grows amongst itself and takes off. This was I wanted it to be a cruciform because I really thought that a cross-like shape would really look cool for the roof. And I think churches and cathedrals are really amazing. Often a lot of energy is put into building them, and I love the angles on churches. And so this was kind of supposed to be like a cathedral in the middle of the rainforest. That's what I was kind of going for. A non-denominational, secular cathedral. You can worship anything you want out in this cathedral in the forest, but that's kind of what I was going for with the steep roof pitches. If I remember correctly, this is a 12-12, maybe even slightly steeper, but then these side ones are 72 degrees, so like very, very steep.
The other thing that really stands out to me is the way that you've used all of these windows. The fact that these are all reclaimed just makes it all the more impressive.
You have to be willing to let the materials guide the building, as opposed to you forcing the materials upon the building, if that makes sense. So like this wall was framed out based on what that window was and what those little windows were. And I like how it's different. I like how it's not cookie cutter.
So what was your agreement for building it here on this property?
The agreement was I provide the labor and provide a finished livable space, and I get access to it for 2 years. And I finished it the day I left, so I never really got to enjoy it complete. I mean, me being done with a building is really different than the building itself being finished. When I walked out of here 8 years ago, I was finished, but the building wasn't. And since I've left, people have added all sorts of things. I think the dude has like a jacuzzi or something like that. I mean, and this little fireplace. My fire pit was nowhere near as good as that fire pit. But to have people care about it enough that they want to put their own touches into it, that's awesome.
And do you think we could take a look inside?
Oh, definitely. Let's do it. Come in.
Oh. You know, from the outside, this kind of looked like a whimsical cabin in the woods, but stepping inside, it's all of a sudden become a home.
A home, that's the word.
It's impossible as well to ignore the location. I mean, we're right here in the middle of the beautiful Pacific Northwest forest. And I mean, I can imagine sitting down in that sofa, it must still feel like you're connected to the outdoors.
Yeah, I mean, there's just like veils of moss everywhere and 6 different kinds of ferns and, you know, giant trees. It's hard not to feel in awe of the landscape when you're here.
So can you tell me a little bit more about the actual construction of this house, the design, and how all of this came to be the way that it is now?
I always start with the floor. With this one, I wanted to be a cruciform, which is just, you know, 290 degrees. You're also limited by space, so it had to be under 200 square feet to avoid having to pull permits. So that's where I started. And then the walls grew out of there, and all the materials are salvaged. So that's where the kitchen sink came from, and that whole countertop. This is RV stove. So I think I got this on Craigslist. These were all scraps, you know, used every single little piece.
What do you think really influenced the style of how you built this cabin? Like all of these really beautiful exposed beams and all of that sort of thing.
I mean, a main focus for me was what the roof, and if I can take you up to the loft, you can see another really, like maybe one of the most essential things that went into my thinking about this cabin was wanting to leave all of the framing exposed. Like one thing that kind of always has bothered me is that in building, we always cover up the skeleton. You know, the skeleton is covered up on the inside and it's covered up on the outside, but the skeleton is cool, you know, like ribs and everything. And so that's kind of what this effect that I was trying to go for was I wanted you to see what it is that's holding you up. And what's holding us up are these two big beams that are kind of mortised into each other, and then these jack rafters and valley rafters, and they're essentially like the ribs of, I talk about it like it's a person, but they're the ribs of the cabin.
And I really love what you've done over here with the roof window as well, because that's just so perfectly placed.
The skylight?
Yeah.
Thanks. Well, yeah, you know, I knew that this is where people would be sleeping, and I knew that, I didn't know, but I anticipated that that's where you would place your head. And so I thought, you know, I was thinking like when you wake up in the morning, that's where you're like this, and you kind of tilt your head over and boom, there's where it is.
A project like this is naturally going to be really hard to gauge because obviously so much time, effort, labor went into it. But if we're talking just about material cost of this project, what did it actually physically cost you to build?
The original arrangement was, I think I got $2,000 from him, the property owner, and then I put about $4,000 into it maybe, and then since then Cullen has put the water and the electric. I think he put another $1,500 into it, so all in all maybe $7,500 for it.
For me, that's really inspiring because I think it goes to show that if you find an amiable landowner, if you're not afraid of putting a little bit of work and effort into it, this is a really achievable dream, isn't it?
Oh, I would say the land is the biggest thing. If you can find someone who owns property, because, you know, property is not easy to come by, but if you can find that property, someone who's willing to let you build, anyone could do it. I didn't really know what I was doing.